Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perspectives by DGMC, an exclusive podcast series where wisdom meets aspiration. I am Sanman Hutgikar, the podcaster. In this episode, we explore the art of storytelling with Mr. Vinod Ranganath, a writer who kick-started India's daily soap revolution with Swabhimaan and went on to pen various stories for Ekta Kapoor and TV channels including Zee TV. With screenplays like Mast, his work has spanned cinemas, television, and films for generations. Thank you so much, sir, for being there at the show, and we welcome you to the podcast. So, sir, to start off with the podcast, we would really want to know, okay, what does your daily routine looks like? Like, how does a writer spend his entire day? What is your schedule?
Okay, so a schedule for a writer normally is where, at least for me, is where I wake up early and I try and write first thing in the morning. Because for me, morning is the best time. So I'm an early morning riser, so 5:30, I'm at the table and I write. And if I'm not writing for any specific commission work, then I write for myself. So it could be anything. It could be just my thoughts. It could be something random. But I try and write at least 1,000 words when I'm not doing commission work, which is separate from my own writing.
So, when you have to, I know, so writers also have a lot of pressure of delivering the episodes and the.
Sure.
So when you are under pressure, so do you follow the same creative aspect, or there is some
It's
other?
the same routine.
It's the same.
It's the same routine. See, it's like this. If you're a sportsman, supposing you're a cricketer, you say Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar, whatever you are, you do the same net practice. No? In the game situation, that net practice is what comes into play. So the net practice routine will always be the same. In the game situation, when the pressure comes, it's the net practice, what you've done, that helps you.
So you've written for both TVs and movies.
Yes.
So how different it is, and how different are the demands of the producers of TV shows and also the movies?
No, the pressure is the same. The deadlines are very similar. There are two different formats of writing. One is a long format, one is a small format. So the skill sets required for both are slightly different. Though the fundamentals are the same. The fundamentals don't change. It's just that you're writing 20 minutes or 40 minutes, and here you're writing a 2-hour film. That format changes. Okay. The deadlines are the same. The pressures are the same, even for a film. So there's no difference actually as such. Only thing is, in TV, at times it gets very stressful when there are, deadlines for you to deliver overnight, immediately, because of various production problems or whatever other logistical problems come up. Because in TV, you're supposed to deliver 22 episodes a month. Correct? So you cannot at that point lag behind as a writer. So you have to always be on top of it, if not ahead of it. But because of any logistical issues, if there is a problem that has come up, then you have to, that pressure becomes slightly difficult. But an experienced TV writer is used to it. So, writers are used to writing all through the night to deliver a script for the morning shoot and things like that. Those things happen. Yeah, that is very much there. But normally, TV is a lot more controlled, and so the pressure of giving 22 episodes is always there, sure. Yeah, but you are not really burning the midnight oil to give something. That's a very rare thing.
So when a new actor like Shahid Kapoor or Amrita Rao makes a debut, and you're the writer for the movie, so what is your mentality while you're shaping the character for them? Because you are introducing them to the industry. So what are the pressures and what is your mindset at that time?
So you normally don't write keeping an actor in mind, right? So, because you spoke about Shahid and Amrita, that's Ishq Vishk.
Yeah.
We were very clear we wanted a young guy, a new guy. Yeah. Because we wanted somebody, the character was of a 17, 18-year-old kid in college. Okay. And we wanted to capture that innocence, that naivety of the character. So, when you're writing, you don't keep a actor in mind to write. You always write for the character that you're writing. Whether it's the male character or the female character. You create the character. And then you try and cast person who fits your character. You don't...
It's not the other way.
It's never the other way. Yes, in feature films, where you have a huge star who has a certain image, right? The audience is going to see the star for that image of that actor, the star, right? So, there are times when you do tend to play up to that image of that actor. Because the audience is paying money to go and to see that. See, the difference between TV and OTT on one hand and film is that in film, it's the star. It's a star vehicle. It's a star who drives the whole project, right? When you're talking about mainstream commercial films, right? So the star plays a very huge, important role in the whole process, the creative process, the whole production process. So audiences of a commercial movie star is going to watch that star and not the character, actually. People are going to watch a Salman Khan film. People don't say that Bajrangi Bhaijaan ka jo character hai, main wo dekhne ja raha hu. Or people are not saying that they're going to see Raj or Aryan. They're going to see Shah Rukh Khan. Isn't it? People are going to watch Amir Khan. So, and down south in Kerala also, for example, or Tamil Nadu, they go to see a Rajnikant film. They are not going to see whether he is what. Nobody is going to see that. What they are going to see is, in that film, what is Rajnikant doing? They are not going to see what the character is doing. So when you have such huge star status of actors, then yes, you do have to play up to certain things which the audience likes about them. Right? So typically a Rajnikant film, there is an introduction of Rajnikant, which is there in all his films. You know? So you make a variation of that, in your film because it's Rajni. So it's like that. It's like that. Here, there was a time when the audience used to love Salman Khan opening his shirt and, showing his abs. Right? Every other film in the 2000s, mid-2000s and, early 2000s, he was removing his shirt. Because he did that in some film and people loved it. So after that, Salman was removing his shirt because that's what the audience wanted to see. Now, that may not be part of the character or what the story is going, but you do it because the audience are coming for that. So you give them a little bit of what they want and then continue telling your story. So yes, you do tweak it a bit if it's a huge star. And the star has an image. Unless it is very deliberately decided that in this particular film, the character that has been worked out for this huge star, in this film, that character will not do what the star's image is doing. For example, Swadesh. Now in Swadesh, you'll never see Shah Rukh Khan doing what Shah Rukh Khan normally does. And this was at the peak of his career, he did that film. It was a very understated, very different Shah Rukh that you saw. In fact, a lot of audiences couldn't relate to that Shah Rukh. But it was a deliberate attempt made that, no, this Shah Rukh Khan is not the Shah Rukh Khan of Dilwale or Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or what the other films were at that time which had
not
come.
The romantic Shah Rukh.
No, this is a different Shah Rukh. Even when he was doing romance, he didn't have all that, his arms. There was nothing like that. Correct? Because the director was very clear that this is the film I'm making and I need Shah Rukh to sell this subject. Because it was an offbeat subject. It was not a typical commercial subject, right? And the kind of things that he wanted to say through that film. So he didn't want to play up to the star's image. Or for that matter, the film where Salman played that boxer or the Sultan, where... Wrestler. He put on weight, had his tummy out, and put his tummy in, which Salman has never really done before. I don't think he did anything in that film which is Salmanish in that film, right? So, having said what I said earlier, there are times when the writer needn't play up to that because it is decided that no, in this film, this man is this character, this artist is going to play it like this. We're not playing up to the calories. So now, having said that, this about stars in TV, in the film scenario. See, in OTT and TV, it is always the character that works and not the star. It's very rare that you have a star pulling in the audience. Doesn't happen. For example, Smriti Irani at the peak of her career when she was doing Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, did a couple of other shows. Never worked as much. A lot of other channels tried to bring her into their, because they thought the audience will come because Smriti Irani is doing a show there. It never really worked. Similarly, Sakshi Tanwar, when she was doing Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, she came to do a cameo in Balika Bandhu. Didn't work, right? Because the audience is relating to the character, not the actor. Correct? And you'll have a lot of these examples. Sakshi Tanwar and Ram Kapoor together worked very well in Bade Achhe Lagte. Because they played those characters beautifully. It was not Sakshi Tanwar as such or Ram Kapoor as such. Though they both have huge fan followings, no doubt about it. But if the same two people have put in a different show where the character doesn't work, the show doesn't get the ratings. So, primarily in TV and OTT, it is the character that the audience gravitates towards and not the star as such. Whereas in film, it is the star. So that's the primary difference. So in TV, OTT, you can actually concentrate on the character and what you have developed and work on that without keeping in mind what is the star status, what are his idiosyncrasies that I need to play up to, or is there any certain behavior pattern of a star which I need to keep in mind because the audience likes it, and things like that, which you may have to do it in commercial cinema, which you don't have to do in TV OTT. That's the difference.
So with that being said, like once your script is ready and you've submitted it to the director or the producers, so how much of it actually gets onto the screen? Like I am sure the directors and the producers, due to various reasons, logistical restrictions or commercial pressures, they change things. So how do you feel about it as a writer?
So, see, once the writer writes a script and gives it to the producer, it becomes the producer's script. Right? He's the owner of that script. The writer is the first owner of the script because it's his intellectual property. But then he assigns it to the producer. Then it becomes his property. And because he's putting in the money and he's setting this up, he has every right to do what he wants to do. Right? Having said that, normally, 99% of the time, whatever changes are made, it's made in conjunction, in consultation with the original writer. Nobody sits and writes and changes the script without informing the writer. So if there are production problems, if there are logistical problems, if there are budget issues, whatever, it's always discussed with the writer. And it is the writer who makes those changes. Right? Then the director is the captain of the ship. He's the author of the cinematographer. The writer is the author of the script. The director is the author of the cinematographer. Correct? He will have his take on that script. He will have his own suggestions on this script because he is going to execute it. Correct? So again, there will be a discussion if he wants some changes to be done, if he doesn't want any changes. What does he want? It is always in conjunction, in consultation with the writer. It's never done directly without that. No, that is, you see, that happens when there is some bad fallout between either of the parties with the writer, either the director or the producer with the writer. Then such things happen. But having said that, let me also tell you that the writer has the right given in law, what is called the moral right. The moral right is a right given to the writer where he can approach the court if he feels that what he has written has been distorted to a level where his reputation as a writer is going to get tarnished.
Even after the script is completely
Sold and everything. If the final film, when he goes and watches it and he feels that the changes are not congruent to the script that he wrote in the first place. Secondly, if it is distorted beyond recognition to what he has written, and he feels that his reputation as a writer is at stake here, he has every right to go to the court and get
question it.
Yes, he can question it and he can get redressal from the court. So that moral right is a very important right for scriptwriters.
It's very good. So we all know about how OTT platforms are, in a way surpass censorship. We can't say completely, but to some extent, yes. So how do you think, as a writer, do OTT platforms give you more freedom, or is it that it has its own pressures that it comes with?
See, there is so it's a very misunderstood thing about freedom, censorship, and all that. Okay. If I am writing a particular kind of a story for television, it's because the target audience or the viewer who's paying money to watch it, or who's coming every day to watch it 5 days a week, likes a particular kind of storytelling. That is why I'm doing that. Correct? It's a market-driven thing. So if you're getting Saas Bahu kind of stories, it is because that is what the market is. That is where those people are coming. It's not that the satellite TV programming teams in all the channels do not want different shows. Of course they want different shows. Like right now I know of a channel which is planning to change the entire programming by shifting the focus from the female to the male. They're saying that we don't have any more male-oriented stories. So females will be there, but let us try and do male-oriented.
Protagonist is the male.
Protagonist is the male. The conflict in the story is a male-driven thing. Or the question that the story plans to answer. Because every story asks a question, right? And it's that answer that is what is developed as the story goes ahead, whether it's film or TV. So the question will be hero-centric, male-centric rather. So people are trying. It's not that they are not aware of it or that they don't want to change. So, but the problem is that TV is a very, very expensive medium. It is, you'll be surprised, very few people know this. See, there are about 180 to 200 Hindi feature films that get produced in this country in a calendar year. Right? The average budget of a Hindi feature film, is about 5 to 6 crores. Right? So you'll be surprised saying, how is it possible? So if you remove the Big Daddy films, which means your three Khans, and the Akshay Kumar and the Ajay Devgan, and say now Rajkumar Rao, who are lower in terms of budgets and things like that, or apart that Khurana, Ayushman Khurana, or Kartik Aaryan, or whoever these new, how many films of theirs comes? The Khans, between them, one film in 2 years is coming. Those are big budget films. Hrithik also comes once in 2 or 3 years. Probably an Akshay Kumar comes 2 or 3 times in a year, okay, because his volume is more. Ajay Devgan might come once or twice in a year. And then the rest, the Rajkumar Raos and all, they might be coming with 1 or 2 films in a year. So totally, if you look at it, these big 6, 7 stars, they come with what, 10 films in a year? Correct? There are 180 other films being made, which you and I don't know. There is some film which is released in some multiplex in Indore for one show. There is some film which is released somewhere in Gujarat, in Surat, Hindi film in one show. You and I don't know, but these are Hindi films being made, whose budgets range from 2 crores to 5 crores to 6 crores. This is your 180 films. It's only the other 10 to 20 films which are the big budget which you and I talk about. The Strees and this and that which come, we talk about them. So if you actually look at the average, if you look at all of it put together, the average Hindi film is not more than 5 crores budget. And a film takes about a year to make. Unless it's there's a lot of special effects, action, big kind of things. The normal Hindi film takes about a year to make. From the time to scripting to the shooting and the post-production. A daily soap also takes 1 year. 360, 260 episodes. Do you know what the budget of an average Hindi television show, one episode is? It ranges between 6.5 to 8.5. It's come down. It used to be earlier more. It used to be 8 to 10. Now it is 6.5 to 8.5. So if you take 7 as an average, okay, multiply it by 260. Yeah? How much is it? It's about 18 crores.
Yes.
Right? That is the average budget of 1 year of a television show. What is it? 18 crores. What is the average budget of a Hindi film? 5 crores. So the stakes are very high in TV. And this, I'm talking only production cost. Add to it the publicity, the hoardings, the the marketing and all that. Every show will have between 18 to 20, 25 crores budget. From the making to the shooting to the telecast. I've given you the production budget. Then the telecast, uplinking and all that, satellites are all expensive, right? The programming team, the cost of that. It's about 20, 25 crores. One show's yearly turnover. The Hindi film is 5 to 8 crores turnover. So when the stakes financially are so high, they have to cater to the market. You cannot sit and experiment कि चलो मैं Gangs of Wasseypur TV में करता हूँ, मैं कुछ वैसा करता हूँ. Gangs of Wasseypur उधर भी नहीं चला. Yeah, it got a lot of critical acclaim, brilliant film, great performances, well made, everything, no doubt about it. But a film can afford that. Here it won't. You see, because in TV, what they look at is the stickiness of the audience.
Long-term engagement.
Long-term engagement. See, in our childhood, when we were growing up, in the mid-60s and late 60s and early 70s, in our house, in a middle-class Indian household, the main source of entertainment was the radio. मतलब हम लोग 6 बजे 6:30 बजे उठ जाते थे, हमारे माँ बाप ने रेडियो ऑन करके रखा और रात के 10 बजे तक वो रेडियो ऑन रहता था. इट्स चीप, इट इज फ्री. आपको सिर्फ वो बैटरी डालना होता है उसमें, रेडियो के अंदर ट्रांजिस्टर के अंदर बैटरी डालना होता है. इफ इट्स एन इलेक्ट्रिक वन, ऑन करना पड़ता है. इट्स प्रैक्टिकली फ्री. देयर इज नो सब्सक्रिप्शन चार्ज एंड ऑल दैट जो आज आप टीवी में देते. करेक्ट? टीवी हैज रिप्लेस्ड दैट रेडियो. Okay, so if you go to any household, any ordinary middle class household, there are households जो सिर्फ Zee TV देखते हैं. If you go to a Maharashtrian household, they will only watch Star Prabha or Zee Marathi. If you go to a South Indian household, they are either watching Asianet or they are watching Sun TV or they are watching whatever. If you go to a Bengali house, you'll see only Star Bangla or Colors Bangla, whatever right? So there is every household or there is a fixed viewership for each channel. So what happens is, if a show does well in some other channel, like supposing my household is a household which is watching only Zee TV. We are loyal to Zee TV. But a Balika Vadhu comes in Colors, which is a big hit. Then at 8 to 8:30, I'll switch to Colors only to watch that show and I come back. So if you look at the regional places, you go to Calcutta, you go to anywhere else, Marathi, they will watch their Bengali shows, but वो जो एक show है, supposing ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है, then they'll come only for that 9:30 to watch it and they go back to their Bengali show. Or if they cannot go, they will see the repeat later somewhere. Right? So ये जो एक loyalty है ना, audience की for a particular channel, the channel doesn't want to lose that because that is their core viewership. So which is why experimenting and trying to give the writer or the person that freedom to do something different
Is risky.
will kill them.
Yeah.
You see, because it's become very tough to keep the audience stickiness on
Yes.
TV. 12 years back, the GRP, which is the gross rating points, which is the total of all the TRPs put together, used to be of the top channels like Star and Colors and all in those days used to be 500, 600 GRPs. Today, Star is struggling at between 180 and 200, which is the number one channel. इतना GRP कम हो गया, which means आपके 300 points के worth viewership चली गई है. Because OTT आ गया है and all those other forms of entertainment has come and the youth has gravitated towards that because they find entertainment there. But ये जो है इनका जो 180 से 200 भी है, ये वो वही core audience है जो छोड़ा नहीं है उनको. 2000 से लेके आज तक 25 साल से वो उसमें फंसे हुए हैं. They are not giving. You can't afford to give that up. Right? Vis-a-vis, if you come to OTT, because it had to be an alternative to what the Saas Bahu and the typical family dramas is happening, is why they had to come up with a different kind of storytelling. Correct? Which were male-centric, which had stories which would resonate with the youth. Because they knew very well that the youth would pick this up more than the senior generation. So, which is why you have the Mirzapurs and the, what are that cricket wala, one of the things which started first, Special Squad, not Special Squad. वो cricket पे जो आया था 2015 में, 16 में, which was the first show on Amazon Prime. It was based on cricket, which was produced by Excel, I forget the name. Which was based on the IPL and all about what happens. That and then Sacred Games and all these things that came up, they were dark, they were edgy, they were shows which resonated with the young viewership. So they were going with that, okay, because they knew that they had to be different from what TV is. Correct? And they obviously wanted that short format. They wanted the scale bigger. They want the production values bigger than what the TV was offering. The TV was at the end of the day giving you box sets, right? All TVs.
Don't you think, sir, because of, I can understand that the TV producers are doing all this so that they can retain the left out of audience. But, kahin na kahin, sir, like for the past 15-20 years, we have the daily soap and the Saas Bahu era. And still to some extent, we have the same drama. So, are they relevant to the current age or what is
See, it may not be resonating with the youth, surely. Yeah, but you have to understand, see, the youth differs from what is in the metro to what it is in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Yeah, like Mughal Sarai का जो youth है, या रीवा का जो youth है, या मेरठ का जो youth है, वो भी youth ही है इस country का, और इस शहर से ज़्यादा है, metro से ज़्यादा है वो youth. उनके लिए वो love stories बहुत काम आती है. It resonates with them big time. I was writing a show called Pandya Stores, which was a big hit a couple of years back.
on Star Plus?
On Star Plus. So it's a Tamil show called Pandyan Stores, which was adapted to Hindi. I came in between. I was called to write after about 200 episodes were done actually. I started writing it and I've been on social media and मेरे को कभी किसी ने पूछा तक नहीं था कि मैं social media में हूँ क्या है. Suddenly one day I opened after the first episodes of mine came through, I opened my Twitter and I see some 50-60 notifications and I'm completely shocked कि I thought my Twitter got hacked, Yeah, because till then nobody has sent me any message, nothing on Twitter. So I'm wondering suddenly ये क्या हो गया. When I open it, these were fans of that show. So there were a group who were fans of the heroine, the main protagonist, and there was a group who were fans of the main romantic couple in the show. एक ग्रुप मेरे को प्रेस कर रहा है कि सर क्या बढ़िया आपने आके ये किया, कि दूसरा ग्रुप मुझे माँ बहन गाली दे रहा है कि आपने हमारे रोमांटिक पैर की बैंड बजा दी. हाउ कैन? And that is when I realized that there are these fan clubs of these shows and they're completely youth oriented. है ना, एंड दे आर लाइक हाय आज मेरे को वो सुहागरात देखना था, आपने इतने में कट कर दिया, वो जो डांडिया में उनका जो रोमांस था वो इतना कम क्यों दिखाया, एंड यू डिड दिस, यू डिड दैट, एंड आई स्टार्टेड, आई इट वाज कंप्लीटली न्यू टू मी. So what I'm trying to say is that there is a set of audience with whom these kind of stories resonate. Yes, it has become repetitive. It has become difficult. And even the channels are now not finding enough original stories in the same genre, in the same template that they wanted to. Which is why if you look at a lot of shows on Star Plus, for example, there's hardly anything original. They're all remakes of their own regional channel shows. Like Anupama, which is such a big hit, is an original Bengali show. Bengali show ka adaptation है. Similarly, ये Pandya stores, वो Pandian store बोल के तमिल में था, Star Vijay में आ रहा था, ये उसका है. There are a couple of other shows also. I'm not very well versed with that, but they're all adaptations of Marathi and all the other shows which are coming because आपको हिंदी में वो ओरिजिनलिटी नहीं मिल रही है क्योंकि आपने राइटर को वही टेम्पलेट में लिखने को बोला है ना, और लिख लिख के अभी इतना एक्सपोज हो गया वो कि आगे जा नहीं पाएगा. तो yes, it has come to a very difficult phase now, and I think channels are trying to figure out क्या करें, because आज की तारीख में अगर एक किसी शो को मैक्सिमम रेटिंग हफ्ते का मिलता है तो देयर इज जस्ट 1 or 2 शोज जो 2 या 2.1 पे आता है, जबकि एक जमाना था जब क्योंकि सास भी एंड कहानी एंड ऑल यूज्ड टू गेट 30-40 का रेटिंग. टुडे द टॉप रेटिंग इज 2. इतना गिर गया है, and that's because people have, they're not getting something new there. But having said that, again I'm repeating, look, the person who is watching this, who's the hardcore daily soap watcher, he or she is that housewife in small town tier 2, tier 3 India. They are the people who watch this. Culturally and socially, they are not attuned to watching Mirzapur. They cannot take on Mirzapur. It's too much for them to accept shows like that. They are used to what is their sensibility, which is the Saas Bahu drama. So it's a tough call for the satellite channels. कि क्या करें? They also want to do something different. But वो करके फिर ये छोड़ दें क्या? वो हो गया.
So as a writer, what type of content do you consume?
I consume. I look for anything which is edgy, which is dark, which has great characters. Actually, it's not just the edginess or the darkness of it. It's where you have great characters. So when you when a show with a good character comes in, then I watch that. I gravitate towards that.
Anything that you're currently watching?
I just watched a British show. Oh God. It's called that. I forgot. It has I forgot that actor's name also. It's a British show which has just come on Netflix, I think. And fascinating character study of this highly despicable, attitude-prone cop, and nobody likes him. And it's a story, and how he deals with what he's dealing with. So there is a crime which has happened, because obviously he's a cop. But the way they've gone about building that character is fascinating. Okay, so I like that.
Any daily soaps you watch currently?
No, I never watch my own daily soaps. So, watching daily soaps, I've stopped watching daily soaps 20 years. Never. Also because, so you don't get the time to watch it. Yeah. You are writing so much that you write and then you want to go and see the same thing again on screen. You can't,
But any current projects that you're working on, sir? Maybe after that you'll get more messages on Twitter after this podcast.
No, so there's a show called Adrishyam which came on Sony Live, which was a thriller, which had 2 seasons. So I'm working on the 3rd season now.
Okay.
the first two seasons had Itihaas Khan and Priyanka Tripathi. So this is what is part of what they call the concept of plus TV now. Plus TV is a concept where you have on OTT shows that are slightly longer than the 8 episodes. So typically they go up to 20 to 26 episodes, 1 hour in that 1 hour framework. And then they repeat it as seasons every 6 months or whatever. So this was a thriller with 13 stories, each story in 2 episodes. So I'd written 2 to 3 of those for that. And earlier I used to write a lot of Crime Patrol. I did a lot of Crime Patrol. So now the season gets over and there's another season which is being planned. So I'm working on that too right now.
Any other daily soaps?
No, daily soaps. I stopped writing daily soaps long back. I just come like what I did in Pandya Stores. I come to do the broad story. And I give that broad story and I'm involved.
Oh.
What happens at the episodic level, I'm not involved in it. Yeah. Because it becomes a bit tedious now for me. I've done both kiya. Both kiya. 20-25 साल किया. So now I don't do that. The last I actually wrote something like that was somewhere in 2013-14. When I used to write episodic story and things like that. After that, I haven't. So it's nearly 11-12 years since I've done that. Yeah.
So now coming from the industry to the education aspect, so what are the top three things I would say rather, that you would want young writers to learn, which are in a way directly or indirectly missing in the classrooms?
This is a problem which I've been talking ever since the last 10-15 years to all students wherever I teach, is that generations of young boys and girls don't read books. Reading is the primary input that a young writer should have. So that whole habit of reading has gone. Because you have got so addicted to social media that your attention span is restricted to a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Because the whole world has got reduced to a reel and a meme. You see? So people don't read. And if you don't read, you won't get the input. You see? My generation, when we were growing up, we didn't have TV, social media, nothing. TV did come, but TV was restricted to a couple of hours in the night. In that also, there was no soap operas and all that. Soap operas, the first one which started was Hum Log when I was 20 years old. So in my childhood, there was nothing. What would you do in your vacations? And we used to have huge vacations, long vacations, right? Summer was about 2 months. Diwali was about 3 weeks. And then you had Christmas, which was again 2 weeks or whatever. So what do you do, right? You have nearly 3 months of the year where you have nothing to do. So the only thing we could do, how much cricket or football do you play? No? The only thing we could do was read books as time pass. So either we should pick up comics like Archie comics, on which the film Archie was made last year. It's very surprising. There's a whole generation of people who don't know what Archie comics is. They don't know who Archie is, Betty is, Veronica is, whereas they were iconic characters for us when we were growing up. Or Commando comics, or Amar Chitrakatha comics. Because Amar Chitrakatha is the easiest way for you to learn your mythology. Right? Mahabharata, Ramayana, everything comes there. So these were the things that we used to read. Because that is what used to entertain us. So we were very blessed that we didn't have all this. So, no, everybody didn't become a writer. But if you wanted to become a writer, you had that much inputs in you. So when you start to write, you have already figured out what is character, what is plot. Because you've read so much. You understand, okay, this is how storytelling is. Right? So the primary thing for any young writer, any young person who wants to be a writer, is to be a voracious reader. Because it is from there that you gravitate towards then either writing a novel or writing a film or a TV or whatever it is. So the one thing is writing. The other thing is discipline. This is the one profession where you require the maximum discipline because it's a lonely job. Correct? It's you and your blank sheet of paper or the page opened on your laptop or your desktop. And you are engaging with that. It's damn tough. Correct? So you need to have that discipline, you need to have that grit and that determination to sit at that one chair and table for hours on end to write. Which is why this old childhood habit of waking up early. We used to, like a typical South Indian household, we used to be made to wake up at 5:36 even if it was holiday. Holiday के दिन चलो 6:30 का 7:30 बजे तक होता था. तो हमारे घर में तो 7 बजे के ऊपर होता था, फैन ऑफ हो जाता था. एसी तो था नहीं, इट वाज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव इन आवर चाइल्डहुड. The fan off, wake up boss, you can't keep sleeping your whole day. Right? So we grew up like that. So when you wake up that early, you have to, or if you don't wake up early also, dedicate a certain amount of time every day. Just like how you go to a gym every day. Those who are interested in fitness and all, they go to the gym every day, at a certain particular time. Similarly, sit at a table every day for that. Start with half an hour, increase it to an hour. Just sit. The first couple of days will be difficult, but gradually you will start writing. So then what happens is over a month, couple of months, when you go and sit there, your mind automatically starts giving you ideas and writing. Because the mind has got tuned to the fact that this is the time to write. Right? कई बार हमको भूख नहीं भी होती है, पर 1-1:30 बजे आपको वो फीलिंग आता है ना, खाना खाओ. Why? Because the mind has got used to कि ये टाइम पे ये खाना खाता है. It's the same thing here. You see, you discipline yourself. So, if you want to be a writer, A, read a lot. B, discipline. And then comes watching. Right? And watch anything and everything. Watch plays, watch films, watch shows, watch OTT. Consume as much as you can. Yeah, because writing is nothing but output, right? So it's like a computer here. Your brain is like a computer. If there is no input, how will the output come? So the more you consume in terms of reading or watching, it's always that much better. And when I say reading, by the way, I just don't mean reading novels or that. Read the newspaper. Read blogs. Today's kids don't read a newspaper, so they don't know what is happening. They are consuming news also on Instagram. That's not news, boss. There is something kind of op-ed page in the newspaper, which is in the middle. Read those, right? Because any knowledge and every knowledge is always important for a writer. So that's what I would say. If somebody wants to become a writer, these are the things.
Sure, I'm sure they'll help our viewers. So we have a small rapid fire round, sir, as a part of our show.
Yeah.
So you can answer it in one word or a sentence as you wish. So one script that you wish you had written.
Diwar.
The most underrated actor you've ever worked with.
Pratima Kasmi. She's a veteran theatre person who also does TV.
Okay. TV or film, what's tougher to write for?
Both are tough.
And a line or dialogue that you're most proud of that you wrote.
So this was something I wrote in Mast, the film. लंबा डायलॉग है, तो उसका जो लास्ट पार्ट था, where the punch is that मैंने पहले उसका आंख देखा, फिर कान देखा, फिर हाथ देखा, फिर पैर देखा, और जिस दिन पूरी श्रीदेवी दिखाई दी, साथ में खड़ा था बोनी कपूर.
Okay. A director you'd love to collaborate with or work in future?
There are two of them. One is retired, unfortunately. Because I've worked with them and I love working with them. One is Mahesh Bhatt and the other is Ram Gopal Varma.
The best compliment you've ever received for writing?
This is from a producer, very senior producer from television, who told me that your stories are always well structured. They may not be great, but you structure it so beautifully that it flows well. That I thought was because
it was coming from him.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going beyond the rapid fire, but remember this much. I've always maintained this, that in a story, it is never the plot, it is the structure that holds a story. Structure is that the spine. How you stand is dependent on how your spine is. Similarly, how a coat falls, a suit falls is dependent on the hanger. You never see the hanger except for the hook. Similarly, the spine, you never get to see the spine. But if the spine is not correct, your posture goes for a toss.
Yes.
Similarly, structure is something which you don't see. You see plot, you don't see structure.
But that is equally right.
That is the most important thing. The plot is anything. Plot, three intelligent people can sit together and create a plot. No big deal. It's the structure.
What is the most chaotic shoot, if you've ever been a part of it on set? Or
Lots, yeah. Shoots are always chaotic. Shoots are always chaotic because there's so much happening. There are, 150, 200 people on that set. So, all working together, trying to get that one correct shot or that one correct scene. So, there's always chaos. There's always chaos. There's so many of them. So, I can't pick out one.
No. So, pen and paper or a laptop? What is your writing weapon?
Pen and paper. I start with pen and paper. And my initial thoughts are always pen and paper. I always carry a pad and a pen with me, always. It's always that.
So, deadline pressures, you feel that sometimes, because many times people have this habit that I have to submit this tomorrow. So, maybe I'll write it very fast. Or complete freedom. What is your choice?
So, when you are an experienced writer, you learn how to handle the pressure. So, see, you're always working towards deadline. You're always working towards a deadline. So in that sense, there is no such freedom. You know that you have to deliver something in a particular period of time. So then you work backwards and then you work towards it. Then it's up to you how you work towards it. In that, you have the freedom to write the way you want to write. Deadline should never compromise on the creative aspects of what you want to say. Then you're a bad writer. You cannot blame that producer ने ऐसा किया, director ने ऐसा किया, मेरे पास इतना ही time था, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आपको देना है बस. You cannot say कि ये pressure था इसके लिए ये वो.
So one thing that writing has taught you about life.
Patience. Writing has taught me a lot of patience. And patience has taught me that when the right time comes, the right things happen. I know, because writing is a patience game.
So, sir, coming to the last question, and this is something that we always ask to our guests whenever they are from the industry and obviously achieved a lot the way you have. So, the way, sir, you're in the writing profession, and there might be a lot of students who are watching this podcast or listening to it today, who want to become a writer, but they don't know how to start, especially when they don't have any contact in the industry. They don't know where to go, because unlike a traditional degree like a BCom or anything, I go and apply for a job and I get it. So what is the first steps, or what are the first few steps, if you want to elaborate on that they should take in order to start their career in writing?
So first they should have something written of their own. Correct. Because that is always your calling card. It's like your visiting card. I have written this. Get it registered with the Writers Association. Very important. Uska thappa lagna. And then approach all these corporate offices. Now they have, it's online. You can submit scripts there. You see.
In these production houses.
Yeah. Whether it is Yashraj, Excel, Dharma, RSVP, all the production houses have a story department. where they have dedicated personnel employed whose job is to read new scripts. So approach them, submit your scripts, and then hope and pray they like it. See, one thing is that if you've written a good script, or if you've written a script which is engaging, interesting, and when I say a script, it may not be the whole script. The character jumps out, or that couple of lines you've written is exciting, interesting. Your script may not get produced, but they may keep you in mind for some other project there. Like in OTT today, you have writer's room, correct? So a writer's room is where a group of writers come together and write a show. So if they find that there is something in your script which is interesting, novel, it may be raw, but they will find, no, this guy has got talent. They may call you and put you into that writer's room. Or they may ask you to be, an assistant. Or to be an intern, so that you get used to it, because they've seen the talent in you. Right? So, the first thing is write a good script, or write a script with your conviction, not a good script. A script with your conviction which you believe in. And then go and submit it. But there are lots of young writers, students who have approached these production houses and who got picked up. Yeah. And my only other advice to young students is that don't say no to any work that comes your way. Writing. Don't say कि नहीं मैं फिल्म करने जा रहा हूँ, मैं टीवी नहीं लिखूंगा. All writing is always helpful to you. आप क्लास में सीख के आए हो, यहाँ पे किताबी बातें होती है, वहाँ प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में जो लिखना होता है वो अलग होता है. So you need to gain that experience. So any work and every work that comes your way, as long as it is dignified and as long as you're not getting exploited, and it's to deal with writing, I would tell students, please take it. Because the more you write, see what happens is you may get a chance to work for a production house which is doing only daily soap opera. And they have a department for writers. 3-4 writers they keep, whom they use to bounce ideas, this, that. You may get a nominal salary, 25,000, 30,000, which is good for a young boy who's come out, young girl who's come out, and, 35,000 is a good amount of salary to start with. When you work there and you're sharp and you're bright and you have the talent, word spreads. You see, the production team itself will say, yaar, isko le lo, isko associate kar do isme. और वहां पे आप गए, आप चैनल गए, कहीं गए, आपने बात की, आपका बात करने का तरीका, the way you project yourself, the way you have written your ideas, that gets picked up, word starts spreading. You see, वो बहुत जरूरी है, because to get into the market you need an opening, right? And see, as a writer, what are you actually selling? This, your mind. That's what you're selling, right? How do you sell that? No, unless you work. I may have great ideas, but if I'm not working and sitting and waiting for a script to be picked up, sorry, it doesn't happen like that. So you have to learn to market yourself. Just like an actor, because an actor has nothing else but his body and his talent. Similarly, a writer has nothing but his talent as a writer to sell. कैमरामैन है तो शूट करके दिखा दिया, एडिटर है तो एडिट करके दिखा दिया, डायरेक्टर है तो एक 5 मिनट का एक शॉर्ट फिल्म बना के दिखा दिया. राइटर क्या करेगा? 15 पेज लिखना पड़ता है उसको, है ना? So you have to learn to sell your talent, and that will happen when you work.
Thank you so much, sir. So I would say that's how we realize how being a good writer requires more than just a creative mind. We hope that today's episode gave you more than just glimpse into what is into a writer's room and what it takes to be a writer. It also offered a new perspective to you of how stories live, breathe, and also grow with these writers and then to big screens. Thank you so much, sir, for being there at the show and coming and sharing all these beautiful insights with our viewers. And thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. And until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and remember that every perspective has the power to shape your journey. This is Sanman Hutgikar signing off. Stay curious, stay connected. Thank you.